Hi, it's Dr. Martinez here. I want to take you through a quick little workout for your shoulders using this new device, Retract-a-Band. Right? You're going to love this thing. But first thing we're going to do is we want to warm up. So I'm going to put that off to the side. You notice I'm doing a little marching, but we're going to do upper body. I like to march in place because it just gets the whole body nice and warm. So while I do that, I'm going to sort of swing my arms forward and back. Get some range of motion at the shoulder. The research has showed that the warm-up is very important because it increases tissue temperature. Increasing tissue temperature will then allow you to exercise more safely and stretch more safely, lowering your risk of injury. So this is why we warm up the body. In fact, we say it's very important to warm up, to allow you to get a better workout in the long run. And keep you safe, of course. Right? You could also do some of these, right? And notice I keep up my pace with my legs and keeping it low level. Of course, those of you who want to do a little bit higher of a level, right, you can sort of do little mini, but right now we're just warming up. So we're keeping it nice and slow and increasing that tissue temperature, as I said earlier. So you can also do behind your head, behind your back. Notice I turned it a little bit behind your head, behind your back, making sure that those shoulders get nice and warm. Obviously, elbows and wrists are involved. So we'll do a few more of those. You can, of course, do these. Bending those elbows, really sort of increasing the fluid of the joints. Yeah, feels good. Feels good to warm up. Increases your energy level too. Okay. How about wrists? You can do twirling of your wrist. These are called deviation, wrist deviation, flexion and extension. You can do them all at the same time. I've noticed that, if I'm tired in the morning, I go to work out, or, a little bit lazy, if I just start by doing a warm up, within 5 minutes, I'm already feeling better and feeling more energetic. So warm-ups are great, simple to do, and you definitely don't want to do it at a higher speed. Here's a good one. Oh, and I might step off to the side, step off to the side. You can reverse direction. Have fun with it. I really like to have fun with exercise. That way, I look forward to it. Good, good. All right, here's a blast from the past, flossing. I'm not very good at this, but it's kind of fun to do. Get your hips involved, get your trunk involved. Boy, some of the young people, when I first saw this, they were amazing at this. They could do it so well. Good, that's always very fun. And then hear about this one. Good, right? Do you remember that old, for those people my age, Madonna video? Vogue, 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 Vogue. She was great, right? So I always think of that video when I'm doing some of these. Good. And then you notice I'm moving my knees, but I'm not marching on this one. And you can go back and you can do a combination. You can even do these. Diagonal movements, very functionally sound movements. And I have the opposite arm going behind my back. Fun. Okay, so now that, our body's a little bit more, a little warmer, you can take your hands, this is one of my favorites, put them together, it's called the prayer stretch, and you sort of keep the base of your hands together while you push it down, don't let them come apart, hold, and we're gonna hold for 30 seconds. I'm a big believer in 30 seconds. I think that the evidence in the past have showed that if you hold for a pure, 20 to 30 seconds, it allows the tissues to actually change length. So it allows you to statically get a better stretch and increase your flexibility. Whereas there's not as much evidence, I don't believe, for a shorter stretch, like 10 seconds. So I like these 30 seconds. Then you can come do the back of your hand. That gets the back of your forearm. And you can try to pull it up a little bit. Don't let your shoulders shrug. Keep them down. So this is a good stretch for your forearms. Remember that 30 seconds. For your elbows, if you can reach overhead. Try to bend your elbow as much as possible. And you can push from below or push from above. This puts your right shoulder in a funny position. But sort of push it back a little bit. Hold for that somewhere between 20 and 30 seconds. I kind of have it in my head after all these years. I've been a physical therapist for getting close to 30 years now. So, you know, these things kind of stick in your head. That's getting pretty close. And we can try the other side. Bend the elbow as much as possible. The reason why you push back from here after bending the elbow is because some of the triceps, which you're stretching here, are attached into your shoulder. So you not only want to bend your elbow, that gets the stretch on this end, but you want to push the shoulder and flex the shoulder, and it gets the stretch on this end too. So it gives you a little bit better of a stretch. Now stretching the elbows in the opposite direction when you straighten them out, they have a block there. Some people, you get to a point where their two bones come together. You can't get it any further, but some people need that to be a little more stretched. If they have really strong biceps, they might need to stretch them out. So you can sort of reach behind you, hold for 30 seconds, or even grab and try to straighten those elbows like this. And don't worry if you can't get too far, as long as it's straightening your elbow and you can function and do your daily activities, it's fine. Some people have a little bit of a bend in the elbow at all times. It's okay. Don't worry about it too much. We're staying very simple, very basic. Good. So you notice I started with my wrists, and then I moved to the elbow, and then I move up to the shoulder. Remember, this is the shoulder, a complex of joints. I like to tell people there's no such thing as a shoulder joint. It's a complex of multiple joints, right? So it's called the shoulder complex. And you can do something simple by just raising your arms straight up overhead. You can lace your fingers together if you want, and really try to get your upper arm to touch your ears if you can. Some people will do it this way. That's absolutely fine. Right? You notice that I lifted my arms to the side to get them overhead. So it's going to stretch underneath my arms, and that also feels really good. We'll wait our, obligatory 20 to 30 seconds. Those of you who are counting, you can, keep me true, because sometimes I get a little closer to 20, maybe less than that. But, let me know if I'm going too short. Good. You already did shoulder extension by bringing your arms back. You got a twofer on that one. You got your elbow and your shoulder extensors, right? And you can bring your arms straight up. You got a little bit with the tricep stretch with this too, and you can sort of bring them up overhead and just hang your arms over behind you. But you got a twofer for that one too. So very simple to do. We can hold this a little longer, but we sort of already got it. Also at the shoulder complex, you can give yourself a really big hug. Now, be careful not to shrug your shoulders when you do that. So you come over here and give yourself a big hug. Careful not to do that, because you could pinch your shoulders, some of the tissues there. So, you just hold on to yourself, It's nice to give yourself a big hug. Stretching the upper extremities, so we can use the new Retract-a-Band in order to exercise them after the stretch. Remember, you can also stretch after you do the exercises. That is perfectly okay. The shoulder complex also does rotations, right? That oh my God, the rotator cuff, excuse me, the rotator cuff. Everybody knows about the rotator cuff, right? So one of the rotations is called intern rotation, and that's where you reach up behind your back. Good stretch to do. Remember to hold your 30 seconds. You don't want it to hurt. You don't mind if it have a strong stretch, but it shouldn't be painful. If it is, just lower your hands a little bit lower and hold them there. Don't worry, if you do it consistently enough, you'll get there. And then the opposite of that would be an external rotation of the shoulder, which would be back here like this. And same thing, you can pull those elbows back, but if you can't get them back without pain, then just leave them forward a little bit. That's okay. Just gradually over time will increase your flexibility. Remember to hold for 30 seconds. Very good. And you notice that I started with the wrists, went to the elbows again. Now we went to the shoulders, got the major muscle groups. We can get really picky and do all kinds of little itty bitty ones, but right now we're sticking to basics and we're just going to do the major muscle groups. Okay, so now I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready for the Retract-a-Band. So if you've bought a Retract-a-Band, which you should, it's really a cool device, right? Pull it out now and we can start using it. Okay, so this time I'm going to go shoulders, right? So here's my Retract-a-Band. I have the handles here. I'm not going to use the straps, but you are more than welcome to use the straps if you feel comfortable with it. Remember that they're optional. But I've got it in there comfortably in my hand. Remember, do not let this go, any of the handles go while it's on tension. While it's on tension, you want to hold those handles nice and firmly. They have the locking mechanisms, and we have shown you that they have instructions on the locking mechanisms and little divots where your fingers should go. So what you can do is let's start with, some of the basics. So we want to make it a little longer. Open up one of the locking mechanisms. Pull it out so it's a little bit longer. Snap it shut. You can go to the other one. Open the locking mechanism. Line that up. Pull it out. Oops, so it's a little longer. Almost let it go. And then snap it shut. Now you've got a nice long band. If you put this band down by your side and hold the left one with the palm facing forward, and then take the right one and pull straight up, right? That's going to give you a shoulder flexion exercise on the right side. Good. And really sort of go, we're just going to do maybe 8 to 10. That feels really good. I like the palms up, but you could have thumbs up if you wanted. It doesn't matter if the band's twisted, right? In fact, twisting the band sometimes makes it harder. So we're getting close to 6, maybe 7, 8, something like that. I don't count so much. If you notice, I'm not 1, 2, 3, 4. I sort of feel it. Then we switch. We come down, come to the other side. So remember with the elastic bands, you always need an anchor, right? So right now I'm anchoring with my right hand, pulling my left hand. I'm keeping the elbow straight. I keep the elbow straight. If it gets painful, right, then you can bring this right arm closer and decrease the tension, or of course you can open it up and make it longer. So that would be a shoulder flexion exercise, keeping the elbow straight. I like palm up or at least thumb up, right? And that gives you a really good, I can feel that. We probably got 12 in there. Okay, so now if we're going to do flexion, we should do extension. This is where you reach over. You notice I like to reach over. Some people try to put their thumbs in, and I'm not a big fan of that, but if your thumbs are strong enough. So reach over with the little pincers, I pop it open, and then I decrease the length of it. I'm only going to decrease the length on that side, right? Maybe pull it out a little bit. Then I snap it shut. This one, I'm going to get shoulder extension. So I'm going to put the band around my front of my thighs, and you're going to pull straight back. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me pull straight back. I really got a good handle on those, a really good grip on those handles. And I can pull straight back, and I'm using the front of my thighs as my anchor. That feels good. One of the muscles that does this is called the latissimus dorsi. In the gym, they call them lats, right? So the latissimus dorsi is sort of in your back, and it actually attaches right here inside your shoulder, and it pulls your shoulder back. And a lot of people don't know this, but it pulls your shoulder and it rotates it in a little bit. That'll give you an extra push. So straight back like that. Good. That should feel really good and like you're really getting a nice tense pull. Notice I keep control of those handles, And they feel good in my hand. It's better than just holding the band by itself. Good. Good, okay. So, accomplish some of those. Now, what's fun is you can do both of these at the same time. I'm going to keep the tension about this. Maybe I'll sort of bring it in just a teeny bit, okay? Snapped it shut. You saw how quickly I did that. So what you can do is if you have your arm straight out in front like this, you can pull the right one up and the left one back at the same time. So then you get a shoulder flexion and a shoulder extension, flexion on the right, extension on the left. And if you want, you can alternate, right? That's kind of a fun exercise to do. And you've got that nice handle. It feels really good in my hand. Good grip. Good, so now you're getting both simultaneously. That's a really fun one to do. Okay, now, this one I like a little more tension, but some people want to get a bigger range of motion. I'm going to tense it up just a little bit. You noticed I opened it, slid it in, snapped it shut. Now this is getting really easy and really quick to make adjustments. If you bring it up over your head, elbows straight again, because we're after the shoulder, so we don't want the elbows involved just yet. And then you pull it straight out in opposite directions, right? Of course, the more tension you have, the harder it's going to be. Sometimes if I really pull, it sort of touches the top of my head and gives me an anchor, right? We're going to do a bunch of these. That feels good. I can feel the tension in that. And I don't have any concern about the band slipping out of my hand. I feel really comfortable in the palm of my hand, which is why we created that little hump. It's got a little hump there, fits nicely in the palm of your hand and feels really good. Okay, that's called shoulder adduction, right? You're bringing it from above your head and you're trying to bring it down closer to your body. Okay, the opposite of that would be shoulder abduction. So open that up, get a longer band, snap that shut, and this time I'm going to open both of them. Open that up. I sometimes grab the band like this, pull it out a little longer, snap it shut, and then I'm going to swing it around the back so it's underneath my rear end, right? Just on the top of the thigh, but a little bit underneath the rear end. And what I'm going to do is when I bring again with a straight elbow, I'm going to bring it out to the side, but subtly, slightly forward. So it's not straight out to the side, but by bringing it slightly forward, it hooks to your rear end, and mine's kind of flat, so, you know, if mine can do it, you can do it, right? And so you're bringing it up to the side, but you notice I don't bring it too much higher than maybe 90 degrees. I try to keep my palms up or my thumbs up, right? And it really gives me a good shoulder exercise. I can feel that. I can feel the tension in that, a little bit of a burn, right? Really pull it. If it hurts, again, lengthen the band, right? If you want more of a challenge, you can tighten that band, right? And that gets what we call shoulder abduction. And this is called the plane of the scapula because it's sort of lined up to the shoulder blade and how the shoulder blade is aligned. Okay. Really good one. I can feel that. Woo! That's a goodie. All right. So then from here, right, you can do other types of exercises, right? You know, internal, external rotation. This one is what I call the Matilda exercise, right? And so, you know, mine's nice and long, and what you do is a nice wide stance. You wrap it around sort of above your elbow, and you notice that my elbows are tucked in and they're bent, right? So it's above the elbow here. And then what you do is you whip those elbows out to the side like chicken wings and put your hands on your waist. It goes like this. And that's an internal rotation at your shoulder, right? So, Matilda, right? And so that is a pretty gentle exercise. Again, we are staying very basic here. We're not going for, you know, too intensive exercise. You notice that that band is wrapped around my arm and my knuckles, but I got the handles, right? So I'm not slipping, right? This Retract-a-Band really feels good, right? It gives you that security that, you know, you're not going to lose the band, or that, you know, it's not going to hurt your hands, right? So that is internal rotation. Really good internal rotation. I don't know where I'm at, 7 or something like that, 6, 7. Right, we'll do one more. Great. All right, how you guys feeling? I hope you're feeling strong. It's fun to use this band. Okay, so then you let it go, bring it around, right? Put it back in your hand. Remember that nice little hump where the magnet is. I'll tell you what that's for in a second. Goes right into the palm of your hand. Okay, so I'm going to make this much tighter now. So I'm going to open up one side, line it up with the opening, and let it come all the way in as far as it wants to go. Good. Snap it shut. Open up the other side, line it up, let it come all the way in. So look how short this thing is now. Snap that shut. Now, if I tuck my elbows to my body and leave them there, don't let them go flailing out or anything. And what I do is I pull the forearms and the hands away from each other. That is a really strong exercise, great for your posture. Right? An external rotation, right? So it's a rotator cuff muscles, two of them back there, and they're back here, right? That would be really good to pull your shoulders back. It's a good, strong exercise, right? And it feels really good to do that, right? It feels like you're really getting good posture. You can pull your head back while you do it so that you really have, I don't want military posture, right? That's a little too, sort of strict in the opposite direction, but this one really feels good. So we're going to do a few more. So I like to go over them in my head, right? So we're doing external rotation. Before that, we did internal rotation. That was Matilda. We did flexion and extension of the shoulder, right? Then we did abduction when it was underneath our rear end, and we did adduction, which is up here. Then you have these wonderful things called, horizontal abduction and adduction, right? So one of the things you can do is I'm going to pop it open. You saw me do that. Getting fast now. You guys will too. You pull that out so it's a little longer. There's the snap. You bring your arms straight in front of you. Keep those elbows straight, and then pull this way out, even until it hits your chest, right? That is a really good, that's called horizontal abduction, right? Really pulls out, right? Feels really good. And those of you who are stronger than I, you can make this thing really short and pull it out nice and strong. Some people are afraid that the band will rip. This band does not rip any more than a regular band would. Physical therapists, we used to put bands inside doors. We'd trap it inside of a door to give it an anchor all the time, which gave me the idea that we could really pinch this and it would be completely fine, right? It's not going to tear, okay? And then I'm going to keep that length and maybe increase it just a little bit on this side. Good. Getting fast at those. And you wrap it around the back, right? So your back is here. See that? And then you can just do basically bench presses. Push straight out. Now, it does hit your arms. But when you used elastic tubes, the tubes really did hurt your arms to do this type of exercise. But the band is softer, it's wider. So this is called a horizontal adduction. Of course, you're getting a tricep exercise by straightening your elbows when you do this. So that is a really nice exercise for your elbows. Good. Having fun? This is good. I love it. Right. Good. Feels good. And this is so much fun to have the handles, right? You can have handles on bands. You've seen those before, but it's a fixed length, right? The band is a certain length, and then if you need to be shorter, you have to grab the band, but not with these. You can adjust it. There isn't anything like that out there. Good. Okay, so now we got some triceps in there. I think you saw that. And what you can do is if you really lengthen this thing, right, so then I'm going to pull it out. You can pull it out like this. I like to grab it with my fingers and pull it really long, and then take this side, pull it with my fingers, pull it really long so it's way out there, and watch this one. You put it down on the ground and you step on it nice and securely so it doesn't let go. Now you can do bicep curls, right? Your elbows are tucked to your body, palms facing forward. I like it that way. Or your thumbs up, a little bit different of a muscle. And then you just bend those elbows, right? You get really good bicep exercise. Right? Fun, right? Boy, you can feel that. Whew! Right? This band. And look how taut the band is going, right? People get nervous. It's not going to break, again, any more than any other band. Bands break eventually. They all break at some point. You don't want to leave them on heat, or you don't want to throw them in the freezer or something crazy like that, right? They'll be fine, right? So you just control. If you have long fingernails, you have to be careful with this because my fingernails are in the band. So sometimes I'll tell people if they have long fingernails is sort of keep the palms out this way. That way your fingernails don't go inside the band, right? And fingernails will tear a band, again, any band at all, right? So only a couple more exercises. It's really nice and quiet around here, so we're not going to hear a lot of voices or anything. So a good little exercise program will be done in just about 5 minutes. So, you know, a couple more exercises, you guys are going to really enjoy this. Okay, so after all that, we've gotten all the way down to our wrist, and the wrists do have a couple exercises you could do. So you want to make this a little tighter. So if you pop that open, line it up, and there it goes all the way in. Snap it shut. Pop that one open, let it come all the way in until there isn't any slack left, just that little teeny bit, right? And what you can do is you can hold these, and what you can do is you can just sort of tilt them out. Make sure it's taut, tilt them out. That's called a deviation, right? And you really feel that in your wrist and forearms, right? The forearms are here. So we're gonna keep doing, we're almost done, just about 5 more minutes. And then, you know, we'll open up this nice, wonderful home studio to somebody else. Good. And then what you can do is you can have it this way. You can put it down and you can just curl your wrist like this. Remember, you need an anchor with these bands. So you can curl it like that. Good. And turn it over and curl it like that. Notice I'm just using the wrist. My elbow's bent just to secure it, but I could just do that. Right, I'm doing few less repetitions. If you notice, I'm trying to go through these a little more quickly, but you can do as many as you want. Good. And then I'm going to show you another way to do it. I'm going to sit down for this one. You're going to find this one kind of fun. So I'm going to lengthen it a little bit, just on the opposite side, so that we can go and get the left side. Snap it shut. Good. And as you sit down here, right, you can actually step on it, not on the handle. Never step on the handle. So you step on this and you can pull this so that your forearm is secured to your thigh. Okay, your wrist is hanging off the front edge of your knee, and now you can just curl the wrist. Some people like to put their opposite hand down to secure their forearm so it doesn't start popping up like this. Right, and that really stabilizes things. Remember, don't step on the handle, but you can step on the band. And you really pull it up like that. Good. You get your repetitions. And this is for the front of your forearm, right? What they call the ventral forearm. And then, watch this. You're going to like this. You just turn it over. And then you get the back of your forearm, right? That's the dorsal forearm, right? And you really pull that up. Boy, this Retract-a-Band feels good. This would be hard to do with just the band because it slips out of your hand, your grip. But with the handle, it feels good. It feels like you have something substantial to hold on to. Good. And again, we're doing very basic stuff, but you're going to like this exercise. These Retract-a-Bands are great. You really want to do it. And you know what? We all have fitness goals. This is the way to start off 2026 to really sort of address your fitness goals, really doing something new, doing something fun. And I like to say, how do you reach your fitness goals? Retract-a-Band. All right, I'll see you next time. Love this product.